Punching a bear in the face never felt so good. I'm pretty sure you all remember my speed impressions of Yakuza 4 and how I talked about how much fun that game is and how beginner-friendly it is. Well, Yakuza 5 I honestly think is the best of the Yakuza series. Granted, I've only played 4, a little bit of 3, and now I've played 5, but 5 is a pinnacle of its series, and other people have said the same thing. So let's get into the major story about it all. Basically, we're playing as 5 characters this time around. Kazuma Kiryu, Taiga Sajima, Akiyama, I forgot the last one, Shinada, and finally Haruka. Basically, we're playing as all 5 of these characters with their own stories. Yes, their stories are self-contained, but they all connect in some way or another. Kiryu is basically trying to live a life away from the Yakuza life. Sajima is going through, again, a jail time, but hears about something tragic that happened. Shinada is a down-on-his-luck guy that has problems with loan sharks. Akiyama is basically trying to establish a new Sky Finance, and Haruka is basically going through her dream of being a pop idol. All of these characters have their own stories, but they all connect in some form or fashion later on. Whereas you find out that later that there's a possible war that's going to be going on between the Tojo clan and the Omni Alliance, and it does lead to such a massive hit. I know I'm probably speaking a different language altogether with the way I'm talking, but if you were to play Yakuza 5 and go through it more and more, you'll understand how the story all connects one to the other, and it is a massive treat being able to play as 5 characters compared to Yakuza 4's 4. Now, I'm not going to deny it, Yakuza 5's characters are very unique in their own ways. Like I said, different personalities, different fighting styles. In fact, Haruka doesn't even fight. She does dancing and singing, which leads to you doing rhythm games. And I'm going to say this right now, I'm someone who is terrible at rhythm games. I got no rhythm whatsoever. But when I started playing Haruka's section, learning how to do rhythm games, I got better at it. I started learning how to be a little bit more with my rhythm, to the point that the songs that were being sung during Haruka's stages, I actually added to my MP3. I started listening to them when I was at the laundromat and otherwise, and I actually started getting a better idea of how the beat goes, to the point that my rhythm improved. That's how much Yakuza 5 got me. It made me like the music enough that I wanted to listen to it on my off time, and because I listened to it in my off time, I got better. Now, like I said, I already talked about most about the story, and gameplay is pretty much the same as you would think. It's basically an open world beat 'em up in some cases, or at least a sandbox beat 'em up, but instead of one city of Kamurocho, you're going through multiple cities, which I don't remember most of their names, but trust me, they're all unique and different in their own way. And each city is unique to each of the characters. Eventually you do go back to Kamurocho, but this means that you have about 4 different cities that you can go to, and it's actually kind of cool, especially with the amount of side missions and side content that's available in the game. Like Kiryu driving a taxi, Sajima going hunting, Shinada playing baseball, Haruka doing street dances, not even joking on that last one. There's so much side content in this game, and there's so much content within the main game itself, and the characters are so spot on once again, that I really don't have anything negative to say about the game. Well, okay, that's a lie. There are a couple of negatives I have with the game, one being that the frame rate can be a bit choppy when combat gets a little bit too hectic. This is definitely one of the more action-packed Yakuza games, and you can tell the frame rate kind of has a hard time keeping up from time to time. Not terrible like Dead Souls, but it does have a hard time at times, to the point that, yeah, it's about time they move on to the PS4, which they are with Yakuza 0, which I am going to play and review at some point or another. Oh, and by the way, music and otherwise in this game is amazing, and this is also a very funny game. All in all, what do I think about this game? Highly recommend it. Like, even if you're not a fan of the Yakuza series or have never played a Yakuza game, if you are a fan of beat-em-ups, like really good beat-em-ups and crime dramas, I would highly recommend this game because it has great fight mechanics and great beat-em-up mechanics. The characters are so likable and even relatable. The graphics actually look really good for a late PS3 game, and not to mention the story and otherwise is so engaging that I'm so glad that I spent over 60 hours on this game. I'm not joking. I dumped about 60 to 70 hours on this game, and I'm still putting in more time on this game. So yeah, Yakuza 5 I would highly recommend, and you don't even have to play some of the previous Yakuza games to play this one. You could jump in with this one and not miss too much, but I'd still recommend you play 4 if you want to understand the characters like Kiryu, Sajima, and Akiyama. But otherwise, yeah, this is a really freaking good game. And that's my speed impressions on Yakuza 5.